fairyland. It's Tea with Tamara.
Care Bear Stare. Hey everybody. There's just so much magic about today in general. Today is the super blue blood moon, which is in itself ridiculous. So I'm wearing I can never say bright, and I've got my selenite in my hands. And I think it just uncannily falls on when I'm doing a video on throat chakra, because there are no coincidences in my world. Everything kind of falls. And it also falls that I'm talking about throat chakra on Bell Let's Talk Day. And it fell on to the fact that I just did a podcast with Christine Knights, and her podcast is Unsung Heroes, which does assist those suffering or those who know someone, but it's the most instrumental, influential, most beautiful podcast. So it just magic happened on January 31st on the super blue blood moon. And it was a lunar eclipse, which was all about communication as well. And it was about, really looking over where your communication with your intimate relationships have been, friends, family, any other members, and clearing out this. When the sun passed over the moon, it was like wiping all of that clear to blank slate us moving forward into the rest of 2018. So let me kind of get going on what today is truly the most powerful chakra to talk about in a way, because our throat chakra is the vehicle in which we get our mission out into the world. It's our voice. It is usually done in one of two ways, and it's either you're gonna get your mission out through writing about it, or you're gonna get your mission out by speaking about it. And one of the biggest questions I always get is, well, how do I know my superpower? How do I know which one I have? And I can tell you, you already know. You're already more inclined to do one or the other. Do you think about writing long emails to people and just think, man, I wish I'm just going to get my voice recorder out and send them a quick, voiceover of this? Or is it something that you feel like you can express yourself so much better in your words? So like if you were to really think about which one you have, you already know. I like to think of myself, and it is possible. So don't be like, well, I don't know, because I like them both. You can totally like them both. You can be a multi-superpowered throat chakra person, which is, I love to post on Facebook. I love to do live videos. It kind of stems from the fact that my dad was a videographer for CHCH television when I was growing up, the local news station. And so every time we would go over to his house, it was like the video camera was on, and it was like, hi, my name's Tamara, and I like to be on video. So this comes quite naturally to me. If you're ever wondering, like, why does she seem like she loves to be on camera? I love to be on camera. It's my favorite, right? So once you know your vehicle, is it writing or is it speaking? Next comes the greatest part ever. Because most of our life, we are actually taught and told not to speak, not to use our voice. Maybe we're told, in school, we're actually told to be silent over great lengths of time. Not very good at that, I wasn't, right? But we're told not to speak, when to speak, how to speak. What we think is silly or ridiculous. Maybe you were an empath or highly sensitive as a child, and you were telling people, hey, I feel something, or I know something, or I can sense something. And you got that, your parents or people were scared of that. And they said, no, you don't talk about that. We don't talk about these things, right? And so you have this beautiful expression of your voice, and you wanted to share, and, everybody kept saying, don't say it. Don't talk about it. This is not something, maybe it was money. Maybe it was like sexual conversations. Maybe it was all sorts of things that you were told, like, that we don't talk about this. This is not in our, religion. It's not in our family. It's not in our beliefs. It's not in our pool, right? And so over time, we tend to be like, ooh. I can't use my voice for this. This is too much. Now, the thing here, you guys, that is really powerful is that when we stop using our voice, our body is going to need to store that energy somewhere, because this is a powerful releasing area, right? And so we start to get sick, right? So you might notice that, like, think about, okay, I'll just tell you the story about, like, think about the last job that you had that you didn't want to go to work for, right? Like you didn't want to go into work that day. What happened is that you would probably start to get sick more often than not. Or maybe you had to do a presentation and you didn't want to do the presentation and you woke up with a sore throat because, again, your throat chakra didn't want you to be sending that message out into the world. So we start to create illness, or we clench our teeth, or we get headaches or earaches when we are not speaking our truth, not using our throat chakra, and we are pulling in that energy, right? And that stored energy will cause discomfort somewhere in the body, okay? Over time, if you continuously, and I talk to people all the time who are holding in this energy, you clench so bad you need to get retainers, you chip your tooth, you get asthma, chronic bronchitis, all sorts of, and thyroid, like continuous energetic problems occur. The longer you hold in your voice, the more in extreme that they're going to get, because that's more and more stored energy that you're holding on to, right? So the key here is that when we get into being in a place of service, right? And I think of Bell Let's Talk Day because of this book right here. And my throat was really closed before I wrote this book, you guys. My kid is driving me crazy because I was always like the strong one for my family. And I'm still like, I'm honored that I was able to do that for so long. But at the same time, I didn't want to say or do anything that upset them, hurt them, or caused any discomfort or pain. And when I did say or do something wrong and they felt pain, even when I wasn't trying to do or say something wrong, it hurt me so much. It killed me inside because I would never intentionally go out and cause discomfort. Right? And so I started to hold back what I was, my story, my mission, my everything, because I didn't want to upset anyone else. I'm not much of a conflict person. I'm more of a peacekeeper, like love, Care Bear Stare kind of thing. So the fact that words were powerful and something I said could cause problems, even when I didn't even try, I started to not use my voice. When it came to writing that book, it was like excruciating opening my voice. And I say excruciating because I did not want to talk to anyone, see anyone. I was afraid that writing that book, people would disown me, like as a human being, even because I was a bad mother. They would judge me. They were like, oh, you know what I mean? All of the fear of what my voice was capable of putting out into the world, and all of the backlash that could, have come back at me. And so I held on to this book for a very, very, very long time until I joined a program which gave me the permission that I was looking for to spend that time creating this book and getting my voice open. And I'm telling you, it was the most challenging thing I've ever done, but the most instrumental into the Tamara that you see here today, right? Because if I hadn't opened up my throat chakra with the first book, I would never have downloaded right in, and we're going to talk about that in the next couple Tea with Tamaras. I wouldn't have been able to receive in past, because the receiving stopped here every time, right? I couldn't get past the throat chakra into my heart so that I could actually be in this space to spread the messages that I meant to be spreading out into the world. And so, I understand how challenging it can be to be afraid to use your voice. But please, please know this, guys. Your voice matters. Your words matter. They have value. And if you are saying them in the service of who it is that you're here to serve, and you're doing it with love, you guys, that is the most powerful, most impactful thing that you can possibly do. We've talked about root chakra. And if you're holding your voice because of fear of what one person or two people are going to think or say about it, when there's like 1 to 5 people over here that what you say could really impact or make a shift in their lives or transform them in any way, really think about where you're not putting your voice. Do you want you hold in this energy based on fear over 2 people who are not part of your tribe, or do you want to free your voice to be able to be in service of the people that you're actually here to serve? Right? So really think about that. Really allow yourself to connect to what it is that your superpower is, whether it is your voice or your written word. And as long as you're in that space to love, that it's not out of people, your voice is never going to fail you. It is the most beautiful gift you were given. It is the light of your stardust. It is the way that it rocket ships into the hearts and homes of everyone around the world. And we do live in a beautiful world where we have access to serving on such a large capacity. And so use your vehicle. Seriously, I love you. Have a most spectacular full moon here. If you would like to do a little ritual that will kind of hang on to like what this moon is about, write all of the names of those that you have been having communication throughout chakra stuff. And this is even good without it being a full moon, right? But like write their names and what you need to say to them out onto a piece of paper or journal or somewhere, and then really honor that. Honor what your voice needs to say. Honor the fact that you're opening your throat chakra. Whether you put them in a beautiful bowl and put them to do a fire ritual with them, or you just write them down for the sake of getting them down. But really today is about getting out on your communication and then allowing yourself to release and let go on maybe the things that aren't serving you in terms of what you aren't being able to say, and creating space within yourself and opening it up so that your voice is heard and received in a new way in light. But I love you so much. Me and my selenite, it's like a unicorn horn, are off to have a most magical Wednesday. I love you guys. I'll talk to you soon.